People looked like they were from the South though, because of the clothes that they had on. You know what I mean? They looked like they were probably from like somewhere in the South. I can't really tell you exactly where, but they did look like they were from the South. And the deeper we got into the forest or whatever, we were able, like the dude, he came to like the dude that was chasing us and stuff like that too. I forgot to mention, had chased us just to like the edge of the forest. You know what I'm saying? He had like maybe drove to like the beginning part of the forest, and as soon as we turned in, he kind of like stopped and backed off. So we kept going. You know what I'm saying? But as I got deeper and deeper into the fortress, me and my wife or whatever, um, I just noticed these people I just mentioned and stuff like that. But then that's when I woke up. Okay. And now here goes another dream about me being in a fortress. I remember I was in a fortress, okay? And this fortress was like, it had like maybe 2 or 3 levels to it or whatever. But the way we got there was we had to be brought in by helicopters, okay? Now, the way that these helicopters look hecka weird, like some kind of insect or something like that. If I was to really like, if I could find a picture again and stuff, I couldn't really. Actually, I did try to Google the way the helicopters look, and I couldn't really find one. But I did find one that was kind of similar to the ones I seen in my dream, but I couldn't even find the exact one that I was looking for. But these were the weirdest looking helicopters that I ever seen. And when I first seen them and stuff like that, like the dream first started off with me being at home, okay, and then the helicopters came down, and like the way that I seen them too is that I was looking through the window, and they were flying just like maybe a couple, maybe like a couple, like maybe 10, 15 feet above the buildings, and then all of a sudden they all of a sudden, all I know is that the helicopters like flew over us, and then that's when I ended up in the fortress and stuff like that, and that's how I know that we had must have got caught up by the people in the helicopters and brought to that place, to that fortress or whatever. And those are the dreams that the Lord keeps reminding me of, those ones that I just mentioned. All right, so if anybody uh, get touched by the Spirit and could help me get a better understanding of what those dreams meant and why the Lord keeps bringing them back to my memory, please give me the interpretation because I don't want to jump to any conclusions. Now that I told you about the dreams that the Lord keep reminding me of, let me tell you something else about the Lord, about what the Lord put into my spirit. Okay? When I first looked at Obama, I knew there was something about this man I could not trust. The Lord had put that on me. And if there's anybody out there that could actually back up my claims of me telling them that Obama was going to be the president before the election process even begun, please speak up. Because before he even became the president, I was going around telling people that he was going to be the president. I told so many people that people I didn't even know. You know what I mean? Like the Lord put that on me to tell people that this man was going to be the president. And also another thing too is that I knew we wasn't going to be able to trust this man. I just knew it. Okay, the Lord put that on me too, not to trust him. All right. Also another thing um, that I really like to stress too is that Obama is not the Antichrist. He's just a puppet, just like George Bush was and the presidents before him were. Okay? This man is not the Antichrist. He's just another tool used by Satan to usher in his kingdom. So those of you that think that Obama's the Antichrist, you're completely wrong because the Antichrist, when he comes, the man of sin, okay, when he comes, he's gonna, it's gonna be big. It's gonna be major. It's not gonna be the way Obama came in with Obama's doing right now currently is ushering in the Antichrist. Okay, what he's doing is actually spoken up by Daniel the prophet, also quoted by Yeshua or Jesus Christ. Okay, what is the abomination of desolation exactly? The New World Order. That's what it is. Because the New World Order is the thing that Satan is trying to usher in. That's his movement. You see what I'm saying? This is something that he is putting together. Well, God is putting together one too, but Satan is just trying to mimic what God's already been doing. Okay, but right now, we're living in the days where the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet is actually it's already basically set up. Okay, and let me give you a little bit of knowledge about what this new world order and how I know this new world order thing is it, because we are going into a new age with the absence of God. Isn't that an abomination of desolation? Of course it is. Of course it is. That's exactly what Daniel was telling us about. That is the abomination of desolation. It's a world absent. It's a world without God present. Not to mention a false prophet. The Lord just revealed something to me. Something, the puzzles of the pieces to the puzzles are really starting to come together now. That man in my dream with the glasses on. One of them has to be the false prophet, and the other one has to be the men of sin. Because the Bible talks about two different individuals that are going to be coming in and going to deceive the world. And we are actually being conditioned for that moment right now. Alright? There was something that KRS once said that really stood out and stuck with me for quite some time. It's when a state is at the lowest point that it could possibly be, that's when they will allow a black man to come in and be the leader of that state, to be the governor. Look at our country right now. We are going through the worst recession of the history of America, what leads me to believe that Obama is our last president, which means that I know that the next person coming after him will be either the false prophet or the man of sin. And then on top of that, look at what's going on in Egypt. Look at what God's getting ready to do with that nation. And if you really want to know the answer to that, and if you don't know, then read Isaiah 19, that whole chapter. And then I dare you to read chapter 20. And then keep going from there. And you will see exactly where we are right now. I'm going to just go ahead on and say it. Man, we are coming into the mark of the beast. We already being conditioned for it. Even the churches. Even the so-called messengers of God don't even know where we're at. So-called pastors don't know where we're at. The so-called people that's saying that they are followers don't even know where we're at. That is so sad, man. It makes me mad. And sad at the same time because those of you that claim that you do know God but not keeping his commandments, you do not realize that our punishment is far more severe because we know better. If we was to go ahead on and say that we know God and know his word and we claiming that we are one of his and not doing anything that we are saying, we are going to be punished far more severely than the unbeliever because we know better, especially the leaders. I'm going to tell you about a couple more dreams and then after that I'm going to go. Just like the day before yesterday, I was talking to my younger cousin. His name is Stormy. And Stormy was just telling me about a dream that he had when he was younger. He didn't tell me how old he was, but he said he was younger. He said that he had a dream that he was being chased by a demon. And he said that he ran into the church, into his home church that he went to as he was growing up. And he said that he ran all the way up to the attic of the church. And guess what happened? The demon ran up in there with him. And he said that the reason why he ran into the church is because he was looking for safety. And it's a shame because he's not the only person that had a dream like that. Because right before he even told me that dream, I was just listening to another man. I think it was either a week and a half or like 2 weeks ago that I heard another man talking about he had a similar dream, but instead of him being chased by a demon, he had went into a church where he was standing, getting ready to preach a sermon, right? I believe that's what he said. I don't remember exactly everything that he said, but he was getting ready to do. But anyways, he ended up standing in front of these people and looking out into the audience. And you know what he's seen? He said that he's seen nothing but goat heads. And we know what that represents. That's right, you guys. If God is truly in the churches, dwelling there, like we are led to believe, then how come the demons and everything that's representing Satan is able to come in without fear? That's because the Spirit of God is not dwelling there, and it never had, it never was. Because when people think about the church, they think about the actual place. But you know, one thing that the Lord did show me is that the church is much more than a place you go to. Church is you. We are the church. Remember when Yeshua says, treat your body as a temple? Because that's the place where who dwells? It's where your Father dwells. When Yeshua said that when he returns, he's coming back for a church without a spot or a wrinkle, he's not talking about the building or the place. He's talking about the individual. He's not talking about that church, this church, and that church. And you know what's so crazy is that all my life, well, anyway, most of my life, I believe that when Jesus returned, he is really going to be looking for that church without a spot or a wrinkle. And I was thinking about the actual building. But as I begin to get closer to God and begin to get to know him, the Lord's beginning to teach me a new meaning of what the word church is. He's opened up my eyes to it. The real believer and the real individual, the remnant, okay? everybody that